You're seeing tissue paper stamped. That's how I decided to prime my stamps. Now here you see me make a mistake. I put ink on the wrong side. So I'm going to stamp onto the tea bag. The tea bag has been primed with clear gesso because I was going to try to paint. Well, we'll see how it turns out at the end. Really happy with the stamping though. You have to clean your stamps after you use them to keep them good for the next time that you use them. Okay, now I'm going to add this little hat here. Voila, really liking how my stamps came out onto the tea bags. This is a little watering can. So I picked stamps that could be a focal point for the tea bag because I'm going to make tea bag cards or cards for my journal, with the tea bag being on top with a stamped center. And of course I cannot make just one. I am going to make 5. Here's a wheelbarrow. I think I'm thinking springtime. I chose paper that was in my stash. This is a paper that I painted copper over an old book page. And I'm going to adhere this with liquid matte medium from Golden. And this is my kooky napkin paper. And I'm going to put the hat on this particular one. So I did that to each particular paper. And you see the red flowers, that's my kooky napkin paper, and I painted yellow some music for the sunshine, and the wheelbarrow I used a masterboard piece. So I used my glue stick, pasted it onto my tea bag paper, and I'm getting out the wrinkles there. Then I cut them all into individual pieces, and I do lay them under a book for about an hour. I decided to use watercolor to paint inside of the wheelbarrow. The green color that I chose, I thought it would be okay, but I don't really like the color. I keep adding to the color. However, I don't like it, so it's not doing anything for me. It's too dark for the brown background, I think. And then I thought, well, I'll try this red on the handles, see if I like red instead of the green. And I do. I like the red better. And then I'm trying to mix the red in there with water and try to erase the green. Not working too well. And I decided to paint the ground just to stabilize the wheelbarrow on the card. I'm thinking, trying to see if that color, if I can remove any. And then I thought, well, I'll just blow dry it and dry the layering. And then I decided to edge the card by using a brown, darker brown, with watercolor paint. Yeah, I like the way the watercolor paint just is kind of really light, but you can still notice the color and it blends in well. All right, here I put the red in after I dried it, and it works. So much happier with a red wheelbarrow. That actually should be placed the other way, but whatever. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to make this little hat kind of a really light pink. Just a little light pink. You can still see the sailboats. And then I decided to take my watercolor marker and do the ribbon around the hat because I couldn't do that with a paintbrush. So I thought, well, I'll just use my watercolor marker and it'll be darker. And I really like that. So that ended up nice. Then I just took my marker because I like that color and went around the edging. I did have to use my cutting machine to make sure the edges were squared along the cards. And then I also made round corners on all the cards, but as you see, if you don't do your round corners first, then you got to go and touch up the corners on the card. All right, so I decided I'm going to do the overalls, and this is actually yellow, but it does give it a little tint, and I like the way it looks. And I'm going to make the shorts brownish color. And doing the brown on the top. You can see how I got a little too much paint there, but with a paper towel I just wiped it off and kind of used more water and it got okay. Now I want to do a little bit with that center, so I add a little brown there. It's very light, but I like the way that it's the lightness of the watercolor. Colored in the heart red and the buttons red. Actually look more like a pink. And then I went around with yellow on the edges. It's not dark, but you can tell that they are yellowed in a way. It blends in with pretty much with the card. Then I add white splatters, and it really brings out the focal point. Here I add gold, and I added gold to the hat, but I couldn't see the gold very much, so then I thought, well, I'll add white on top, and yes, it just highlights the photo so much better, brings forward everything. And then I need to ink some edging, and so you see I inked the yellow with black. And then you can see that all the cards are done now, and the back is the tea stain paper. And I'm going to be looking in my journal, and I found this is from my telephone book. I can leave a description in the description, the video on how I collage a telephone book. And I thought it looked kind of gardeny with the leaves and things, so I made a pocket. And then I put 3 of the cards into this pocket. I'm pretty happy with it. But I'm playing a little bit with the cards just to redo them again. Oh, I don't know, just having fun. And this particular pocket I made for St. Patrick's Day. I will put the film in the description, and these 2 cards fit perfect. Thank you.